Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as education advisor, coming live once again from the beautiful city of Hamilton here in New Zealand. I'm coming live on a Wednesday as against my normal time of a Tuesday. That's because, it's been a bit of a hectic week for me and doing a bit of running around. There was an injured child at home, so a lot of dramas have been happening, but managed to come and plonk myself in my chair here today. Back live on Instagram to all you wonderful people on Instagram, and back live again on Facebook and on YouTube. On the AJV Global official channel, as well as yours truly, Arun Jacobs' channel as well. So good to be back here again. Last week I was I did a live from our office here in Hamilton, New Zealand, very ably assisted by my colleague and ex-AJV student Nicholas, who is now working full time for AJV as a filmmaker. So he came out with this new gadgets and he hooked up the external big Panasonic camera to the computer and did and that's why we guys could do some nice pans and zoom ins and zoom outs and that kind of stuff. But today I'm back to where I belong, back in my home office. But hopefully the lighting is a little better because I actually borrowed a light from Nicholas from his studio set up, and he was very kind to give me one of his. I think they call the Batwing lights or whatever. They have those funny Batwing kind of doors on them, so it's right behind me there, and I'm not having directly on my face, but I'm bouncing it off the white roof that I have. So hopefully the lighting is a little better. But once we set up our office studio a little better, we will, I know, hopefully do more and more live sessions from there. As regards live sessions, I'm going to start off as usual by sharing my license details with all of you. I am a licensed immigration advisor licensed by the government of New Zealand, by a particular department at the government called the Immigration Advisors Authority. So I studied the immigration law of New Zealand, and then also had to undergo a few police verifications and stuff like that. So to ensure I'm a good boy, so that I can sit here and be able to provide immigration advice to all you wonderful ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls who are desirous of having a good life here in New Zealand. So that's what the company is all about. New Zealand is a country that is seeking to attract good talent from different parts of the world. And as a company, AJV Services is aimed at promoting New Zealand as a destination to good quality clients from different parts of the world. So that's what it's all about, guys. And so if you are looking at a happy life in a good place, in a happy place. So in fact, if you look at our website, ajvglobal.com, it says you have one life, make it happy by living in New Zealand. So, and there can't be a better testimony of it than myself and my family. We moved here and we are extremely happy to be in this beautiful country. And sure, it may not be perfect in every sense, but I think it certainly is one of those most desired destinations on earth. In fact, if you go to one of the uh, independent researchers done by somebody called the Legatum Prosperity Index, New Zealand is actually considered the second most prosperous country in the world, and the first amongst all English-speaking countries. So there you have it. If you have, the right thinking mind, you must consider New Zealand because we are an advanced Western nation with all the infrastructure that you would desire, and a beautiful ambience to study here, settle here, bring up a family, and those sorts of things. So yeah, well, warm welcome to all of you who are joining in. Rules are the same as always. Please state if you're an AJV student or not, because by and large, these sessions that I do and my colleague Mary does and my other colleague Tulika does is for our AJV clients and our AJV prospects who would like to interact directly with a licensed immigration advisor, either in New Zealand or in India. We are 36 people spread across different parts of the world. In fact, one of our colleagues has recently shifted to London, so she's working out of there. And recently, we also recruited a very professional person to join our team in the Middle East. So we have now somebody working out of Oman. So Noella is working out of Oman, and Annie is working out of London. I'm based here in Hamilton, New Zealand, along with Mary, Virginia, Nicholas, Anjana, and a few other people. And then we have a massive bunch of people working in India under the able guidance of Tanuva, who is an ex-immigration manager, and now she heads a brilliant team of people to help as a story guy. So hopefully we will circle the globe quickly and have somebody in America as well, so that we can actually you know come back to you guys 24/7 with all your queries. So let's get started. I think the first one I'm going to address is that one of our clients who's planning to come to New Zealand has shared a particular item from a website called Newsroom in New Zealand. And, like all journalists, somebody wrote a column about saying it's called the dirty little secret in this migration debate. And it goes on to say that New Zealand at the moment is only attracting temporary workers, and they're making it difficult for people to get permanent residency. Well, I mean, while that may be true to a certain extent, let's not forget the fact that New Zealand depends quite heavily on getting more and more able and skilled workers into the country. So maybe they'll cut it down from the current numbers of around 50, 60,000 people per annum and bring it down a little bit. But at the end of the day, New Zealand simply cannot afford to lose out in the global competition of attracting the best talent from around the world. So we will have plenty of articles like this. I've been in this industry for 15 long years now. I have seen it, the policies change so much. In fact, when I applied for my residency, it was only 27 points, if I remember. Now it is 160 points. So a lot of things have changed. But the one thing that has not changed consistently in these 15 years is that the migration tap was never ever shut off completely. If at all, I think it has only gone up. It has not come down. So the migration tap was never ever actually shut off completely for New Zealand. So you guys have to be a little careful about reading all these articles, because journalists also have to earn their make a living. So they will write, and the more as we say back in India, the more masala there is to a story, more people will read it. So they will come out with titles like "Dirty Little Secrets of Immigration," da da da, all those kinds of things. But the bottom line, I'm sure every sensible person will understand is that New Zealand, like most of the Western countries, is competing for global skills, and we simply cannot shut off the immigration tap. Nor can we shut off the tap of our international students coming into New Zealand to study here and seek a future, because the bottom line is that international education is now our fourth largest industry. It's contributing $5 billion to our economy. Will each and every international student go on to become a resident in New Zealand? Absolutely not. It is simply not possible. But those international students who come with the right course, with to the right college, with the right counseling, and being in the right city, and then continue to have continuous advice after you reach New Zealand, like all our AGV students get, I do not see any reason why you will not succeed. In fact, one of my colleagues, and who is also an AGV student at the moment, called Anjana, who is actually doing her postgraduate course from University of Waikato and doing a course in marketing. She's actually tracking to see what's happening with all our AGV students who have been in New Zealand for the past few years. And I must tell you guys, we are having some very, very happy outcomes. Most of our students are finding jobs and moving on into settling in New Zealand. And I think that's a very key element, is that they are working with a company that's based here in New Zealand, which means they have access to licensed advisors practically 24/7. They can walk into our office and get things sorted. We help them to network, to find jobs, and so on and so forth. So a lot of people who come in unsupported into New Zealand will struggle. I must tell you that. But people like the smart ones who are coming into New Zealand through a company like AJV, I think you guys will do very well. Will 100% of AJV students get jobs and settle down? Perhaps not, but I do know that a very, very high percentage of them will go on to settle down in New Zealand. So if you're very keen about a future here in New Zealand, choose the right advisor. And that advisor needs to have people who have licenses, who can provide ongoing immigration advice. Right now, we are three immigration advisors in the company. Another colleague of ours called Navya is going to get her a license, I think, in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And then two more of our colleagues are pursuing their course right now. So that Stanuva and Virginia are also going to get their license, I think, by around March of next year. And by that time, two more of our colleagues called Neha and Akanksha are going to start the course. And by around June, July, they should also be able to get their license. So there'll be about 8 people, 8 licensed immigration advisors who will help you from the first step till the last stage that you reach here in New Zealand. So yeah, if you don't do not worry about all those warmongering kind of articles with very fancy headlines. Just stay on focus, choose the right advisors. We will be your coach on the ground here in New Zealand. We will walk with you. You have a problem, give us a call. We will talk to you and we will sort it out and we will maximize the chances of you succeeding in New Zealand. And our past results are showing that our efforts are and the talent of our students is coming together very well, and we are actually creating a very, very good cohort of students who are going on to find jobs and move into residency as well. So those kind of articles are for people who are coming into New Zealand without any support, not for AJB students. I don't want you guys to be worried about. All right, cool. Okay, here we go. That was a very, very long introduction. But in fact, once I was talking about all of us getting licenses, we'll all be competing for space on the live because we're going to be 8 licensed immigration advisors only 7 days in the week. So we'll have to be fighting for our places. So I'll have to fight very hard to retain my place in this lineup of fantastic advisors who will come live to you day after day after day. And I mean, to the best of my knowledge, no other company is doing it, nor will they do it. So hey, look, you know, common sense, guys. Pick AJV. That's your route to success in New Zealand. Question one, Kevin Alexander Roche. Where is Nicholas and his 4K camera? Kevin, thanks for observing it. I'm back to my good old laptop, which, by the way, is a very super smart laptop. It's a gaming laptop, and a lot of people end up thinking that I'm into gaming and stuff. But I wish I had the time to do gaming. I just bought a nice, powerful gaming laptop so that I can go live. I go live simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, and on two different YouTube channels and on Facebook. So yeah, back to my good old laptop. Kevin, but I did. Nicholas was kind of, but today was a very hectic day. I actually went to the University of Waikato. I was invited for a function where the Edmund Hillary scholarship students were presenting their performances, and it was beautiful. I went there. I sat there, so I came rushing back. I had to stop at the grocery. I also have to be a husband and father sometimes, besides being a licensed immigration advisor. So I did that. Came rushing back. I practically plonked myself in this chair like 2 minutes before. So that's why no Nicholas and no 4K, but I do have Nicholas's light behind there. And hopefully it's adding a bit more light, although it's not directly on my face. I'm trying to, bounce it off on the wall. But hey, look, thanks for noticing, Kevin. We'll try and get back to that proper 4K and all the zoom in, zoom out, and the panning and everything else. All right. Harry Singh says hi. Mohammed says hi. Hello, everybody. I can see a lot of my team gang has also joined in. Hello, gang. Hope all of you are enjoying. I'm not grumpy today. I was just a bit grumpy yesterday. I was having one of those off days, but I'm back again. So yeah, back by your friendly and frank CEO is back. All right, cool. Question one is from Ethan Hunt. Two, right, sir. Want to know if there will be five in any section in IELTS? Will that affect our student visa for level five? I don't think so. If you have a five, especially if you're coming for a level five, but I can quickly cross check that for you. And if you are going to attempt to do a level five in New Zealand, then you need to have an academic score of 5.5 with no band score lower than five. So if as long as you have five and above, I think you should be good to go. Ethan Hunt. Um, so it is not it is not mission impossible. So yeah, I think you will be all right. Okay, cool. Right, I have a comment from Ankit Wagela, uh, who, by the way, is one of our AJV students. Hey, Ankit, hope you're doing well. It was lovely to meet you when I was in Wellington. And Ankit writes, Kia ora, Arun. Kia ora, Ankit. Kehte pe fia kwe. Just to back up your notion, Wellington is one of the most developed urban areas in the world. Wellington's HDI is comparable to Norway's HDI, which is the most developed country as of now. Proud Wellingtonian here. So there it is. Thanks, Ankit, for sharing that. I completely agree with you on all the advantages we have here. So it's not just me, guys, who keeps talking about. Ankit is actually one of our students who came quite recently into New Zealand, and for him to come out and put a statement publicly, we didn't ask him to put out the statement. He's come forward voluntarily and put it up himself, and I like the fact he says he's a proud Wellingtonian, so he absolutely, obviously likes his city. So that's who you got to hear from. See, Ankit is a person just like some of you sitting in whichever part of the world, India or China or wherever you're sitting and watching this live broadcast right now and wondering, hey, look, is New Zealand the right place for me? And here's somebody who thought like you but is now in New Zealand and came to New Zealand through AGB and giving back some fantastic feedback. So thanks, Ankit. Appreciate your feedback, and I hope those listening in will consider New Zealand as your first destination, because for too long, a lot of people planning to go overseas for studies thought of New Zealand as a backup destination. If they did not go where, if they were not able to go to their first destination like US, UK, Canada, whatever, I think that's actually a very wrong notion. In fact, the reason I started the company was to change that notion, is to let people know that New Zealand is actually a very highly desired and it's a high quality destination. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to realize that, which is what our mission is to try and let more good quality people know that there's this beautiful gem of the South Pacific, and you'll be very, very happy to come here. So thanks for the feedback, Ankit. Much appreciated. I hope to see you again soon. I'm coming in December, so maybe we guys can catch up for a drink. Okay, Tanvir Sheikh says, hello, sir. Good to see you live stream after a bit long time. Thank you, Tanvir. Besides the fact that I've been, running around like crazy, I've been running around like a headless chicken all over the world and now within New Zealand as well, with work, and more work. So I've not always been able to come and sit and do the live streams. Plus, I was also having a bit of a niggling problem with the throat. You guys can see I still keep sipping my water and I have the occasional cough. Yeah, my doctor was telling me it is from talking too much, so which seems to be a bit of an issue because it my work involves talking a lot. So, but then that's creating some problem. But yeah, hopefully I'll overcome that situation and keep moving on. But good to be back. And your question is, I've got offer letter from both UOA and UC for Masters in Construction Management through AJB. Which one would you suggest to accept? Okay. Um, Tanvir, because they are both equally very good universities, and there is no doubt that they are both top quality universities, I would strongly recommend that you consider going to Christchurch because of the fact that Christchurch is still going through the rebuild which it had after the earthquake. So there is still a lot of construction activity happening in Christchurch, and which is the reason that you will be able to translate well into work after you complete. Not that there is no work in Auckland, but the other advantage of being in Christchurch is that if you do find a relevant job after you complete your course, you will also get those extra 30 points towards immigration, towards your resident visa, and which can be a massive, massive advantage because immigration, the resident visa is, the ones getting the highest number of points are obviously picked first from the pool. So if you finish your course and find a job in Auckland, and let's say you are at 170 points, technically you have crossed that 160 and you can you can be picked from the pool and you can go through the resident visa process. But if you are, let's say, at 200 instead of 170 because you're in Christchurch and you're getting that extra 30 points, yeah, you're going to get picked much faster, and the processing would be much quicker as well. And I think as a policy, the government is trying to encourage people to move out of Auckland. So purely from that point, I think University of Canterbury is probably a good choice and fantastic university, one of the most renowned universities in the world. In fact, we have nuclear power today in the world thanks to University of Canterbury because Sir Ernest Rutherford, who is a was an New Zealander, did his research here at the University of Canterbury. So it's got a fantastic history. And then he did his research here, and then he went on to do the work which led to the splitting of the atom, which is why we have nuclear power today. So I've been fortunate to go to the University of Canterbury a few times, and fantastic place and great campus, beautiful ambience, and Christchurch is a beautiful city to live as well. And there are a lot of AGV students already there. Will help you to connect to them, and then yeah, you can move forward from there. All right, thanks, Tanvir. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to check to see if my team has given me any inputs. Okay, nothing very alarming from my team. Okay, okay. Moving on. Cool. Milan Joseph, sir, what about accountant scope in New Zealand? I mean, hey, Milan, it's pretty good. As I keep saying, there are a few professions which are absolutely essential. Accountants is one of them, along with priests and undertakers and doctors and teachers and so on and so forth. So, pretty good scope. Again, depends on what you mean by accountant, because are you looking at becoming a chartered accountant in New Zealand, or uh, you know, um, just being an accounting technician or whatever. Overall, the scope is good. Right away, I can recall the name of one of our students called Carol, who came to New Zealand and did a course in accounting, and she picked up a job and she's moved out of Hamilton, unfortunately, but I know she's doing well. And I remember I had connected her to a couple of accountants here in New Zealand when she came newly into the country last year. So, and that helped her to get an understanding. But I think overall the scope is very good, for pretty good. I won't say very very good, but pretty good. I also have a video on this on my YouTube channel. So go to Arun Jacob YouTube and search for Arun Jacob, and you'll see this face, and you can search for accounting career in New Zealand. Plus, also go to our website, which is ajvglobal.com, and if you scroll down, you'll see some testimonials from some of our students and clients. And there's Carol's testimonial, and she's talking about her course here in New Zealand in the accounting field. So I think, yeah, overall, I do believe it's got a good scope, and I would really encourage you to consider coming here and working with us, because if you work with us, we can also connect you to all these people who are already here, seniors who have completed and moved on into jobs, plus some of our own network of friends uh, here in New Zealand who are chartered accountants and so on and so forth. So that, in fact, recently another one of our students, I'm just trying to remember as many as I can, but another one came from Sri Lanka, and he is also doing a course in accounting. And by and large, we haven't had any adverse feedback or any negative feedback from him. So, which means they are progressing quite smoothly. Okay, cool. And guys, as always, before I forget, in case you guys are wanting to get in touch with us, those are the places where you can get in touch with us. Toll-free number in India, email for India, New Zealand toll-free number, and email for New Zealand. That's because New Zealand closes at 5 o'clock sharp, and then Mary and her team all go away. But then there is a very big team of people in India, so we can still talk to you and continue the momentum. So ideally, try and pick an office that's in your time zone, so that it's easier for you to connect and have that constant source of information. If some of you connect with the New Zealand office, you'll have to wait a whole night for you to be able to get an answer, because Mary and the team go away home at 5 o'clock, and then they come back only at 9 o'clock the next day. All right, guys, cool. Right, yo. Yes, sir, Sikandar. Need to know about job in engineering as a HVAC technician. Pretty good scope, actually, to be honest. But again, try to, very good, because in fact, again, I remember one of our clients called Bivin. Yeah, Bivin. Bivin is working as an HVAC engineer, and he says the scope is pretty good. In fact, there are quite a few requirements in his own company, is what he keeps telling me. But yes, sir, as I keep saying always, jobs are here, especially in a field technical, highly technical field like HVAC technology. But you have to be present in New Zealand to be able to find the job, because without being present here on a valid work visa, nobody will absolutely, nobody will really give you a chance. So you need to be present in New Zealand on a valid work visa, which is why we encourage you to make a small investment of time, money, and effort. Come on a course here to New Zealand, do that course, get your post-study work visa with a 1, 2, or 3 years. And when you're here in New Zealand with a valid work visa and with your background in engineering and as an HVAC technician, and the fact that there are vacancies in this particular area, that's when you will actually crack a job and hopefully move on to getting enough points to be able to apply for residency as well. So that's the way you guys will need to plan this. All right, yes, sir. So do get in touch with our team, and um, yeah, we'll be happy to take it up from there. All right, cool. Next thing is from Chaya though, and says, "Hi Ajay, no question. Just want to say thanks for all the information that you share and all the help you're providing to the fellow Indians." Hey Chai, thanks for that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean it's kind of nice. We do get a lot of feedback from people saying you marry Tulika, and very soon Navya is gonna join this gang of live presenters, live licensed immigration advisors who are talking about New Zealand. So, by the way, both Tulika and Navya are ex-immigration officers who work with the Immigration Department of New Zealand, and we're very privileged to have them on our team now. And they're also getting, one has already got a license, and Navya is about to. Yeah, our intention is to spread good, honest information about New Zealand, because by and large, the international education and migration industry is not considered very clean. There are a lot of people who would do anything to earn an extra dollar, and that is where a lot of young students and migrants are kind of put into the wrong path. And then, because I live in New Zealand, we run across these people, and they're absolutely suffering because they've either chosen the wrong pathway or they've been put into something wrong. So that's the reason, Chai, we are trying our best to put out good, honest information, and hope people will appreciate, and hopefully also come and work with us, because it's not just me sitting up here and doing those live sessions. But once you come to New Zealand, we will be present for you day in and day out as well. And thanks, Chai, and not just for fellow Indians. Technically, I'm a New Zealander now, although I do come from India, but this is for everybody across the world, because yes, our largest market is India at the moment, but we also have fantastic and beautiful clients from Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, Singapore, Nepal, uh, where else? Egypt, Nigeria, Uganda, Brazil, US. We've had some from the US. So we have clients from different parts of the world. So yeah, but so to please keep following our work, and hopefully we will get you into the right place here in New Zealand. All right, cool. Okay, Ethan Hunt's question has been answered already. Okay, Ethan Hunt, what a lovely name, my friend. My team calls me Tom Cruise, by the way, not for the looks. The Tom stands for tired old man. Okay. Okay, Akash says, "Hi, sir. I quickly check to see if my team has given me any feedback about anybody." Yeah, sir, if you're still online, my colleague Ruben has also given me some good background information to pertaining to your question. It says that building project managers is a position on the long-term skill shortage list, and there is a shortage, and it falls under the construction bracket. And there is a graduate diploma course at one of the institutes of technology in building services, which has papers in HVAC and air conditioning technology for mechanical engineers, encouraging them to take it up. So fantastic feedback from Ruben, who quickly did some research and shared that with me. Fabulous, Thanks, Ruben. I appreciate that work, Matt. Yeah, good work as always. Yes, sir. So that's definitely one of the courses you could consider. Take that course. Come if you study in Wellington, you will actually end up with a 2 years work visa. That's all you need. You need to be present in New Zealand with a valid work visa, and then go for it. And I bet you'll pick up a job just like that because I know there are vacancies in HVAC and air conditioning. Okay, cool. Radio. My colleague Akanksha wants me to answer a question from Varaprasad, who is a current client of AJB, working with my colleague called Eunice. And Akanksha is Eunice's team leader. And so Varaprasad says, good to see you, Arun. Welcome back. Thank you, Varaprasad. I'm happy to be back here again, and my throat is behaving as of now. Kindly advise on the job opportunities after PhD in hospitality. Uh, okay, please. Okay, yeah, please elaborate, I guess. And then Eunice has added saying that you've done your master's in hospitality and you've got 7 years of work experience in the same field. You're planning to go for PhD and you're preparing your research proposal now. Hey, Varaprasad, fantastic profile. Thanks, Akanksha, for sharing that, and Yunus for giving me some more background information so that it'll help me to, modulate my answer. Varaprasad, you're choosing one of the best countries on earth to come and do a PhD in tourism because we rely on tourism so heavily. If I'm not mistaken, tourism is right now the top most revenue earning industry for New Zealand right now. So you're coming to a country where tourism is right at the top of the pile in terms of how much of contribution it does to the economy. What better place than that, than New Zealand to come and do research in tourism? Because and so imagine the kind of prospects you will have because after you complete a PhD in tourism, in a country like New Zealand, which relies so heavily on tourism as a money earner for us as a country, I think that it'll open up all kinds of doors for you. I could potentially see you working in the tourism department of New Zealand at the policy making level, or you could be working in one of the universities, going on to become a lecturer, or being an advisor to, some large tourism organization in New Zealand. So overall, good choice. I think you will do really well. So yeah, continue to speak to Eunice. She's a fantastic advisor, and we look forward to seeing you here in New Zealand. So all right, and don't you ever worry about the kind of advice you'll get. We will be there with you at each and every step. That is the AJV promise. Okay. And those of you who want to experience this AJV promise, that's how we get in touch with us. All right, guys. I think it does a mirror image on Instagram. So I'm going to show it first to my laptop and then to Instagram, which is running off my mobile phone. So I have it on a little wooden stand and it stands there. And yeah, so trying to use technology to the maximum people for a guy who grew up in a home without a telephone. Can you believe that? So once I told my kids saying, you know what, I grew up in a home without a telephone. They're like, what? How did you survive? I was like, yeah, we managed, and we're doing pretty well. Okay, Akash Francis says, hi, sir. This is Akash. I would like to do a master's in tourism. Hey, Akash, good follow up because I just answered Vara Prasad, who wants to do a PhD in tourism. And so, very similar. You're also obviously going to have a lot of research in your master's if you're going to be doing a master's in tourism. So, very good country to do it because tourism is our top industry at the moment. So, there will be plenty of opportunities once you complete it. And especially you guys, who do masters and PhD, man, you'll be like gods of the industry because people will want to pick your brains for good knowledge. Because any industry, there are the frontline workers and then there are the top level policy makers and so on and so on. And for those kinds of positions, you obviously need to have good research background and good analytical skills, and that's what a master's or a PhD will do. So yeah, good choice, Akash. Get in touch with the AJV team, and we will make your dream come true. And please come and contribute to our tourism industry. We need good researchers to improve our tourism industry and make it the best in the world. All right, thank you. Somebody called Protoy Hawk asked me, is it possible to transfer credits from China to over there without having NOC? Good question. Protoy, possibly, yeah. Technically it's possible, but it depends on which institution you're choosing, what course you're planning to do, which institution you studied in China. So there's a lot of little details we need to know before we can tell you that whether it is possible or not. But at the larger level, yes, transfer of credits is possible. It is here we call it RPL, which stands for recognition of prior learning. So institutions do have RPL, which is recognition of prior learning, and so yeah, there is a possibility. But you need to get in touch with us, get in touch with our AJB team. We will once this session is over, one of my colleagues will ping you. So please share your contact number and have a discussion. And I request everybody not to be wary of the AJB team, and especially in sharing your numbers, because we will not come chasing you down and say, "Oh, you've given me a number, so you better come to New Zealand now." We understand that it is not an easy process. We understand that it involves a lot of time, money, and effort. Our duty as good, honest advisors is to provide that good, honest advice to all of you. And then, if your circumstances suit and you are able to uh, make the cut and come to New Zealand, we will support you through it. If you can't make it, doesn't matter. We understand because, like I said, it involves a lot of money, time, and effort. You can't make it, no problem. We will continue to remain friends. All you have to do is continue to watch our live sessions and please share it with your family and friends. All right. So, Pradoi, get in touch with our team and we will tell you whether you can do an RPL with your courses from China. Okay. Cool. Okay. Roy S. Roy S says, "Hello, sir. I'm a mechanical engineer working as design engineer for past 4.8 years. I'm planning to do PG diploma in New Zealand, but I have a confusion in whether to take PG diploma in mechanical engineering or design engineering. How can you advise me on this?" Good question, Roy, because they are engineers are in the long-term skill shortage list of New Zealand. And irrespective of whether it is mechanical or civil or electronic or electrical or design engineer, wherever. So pretty much all engineers are in the skill shortage list of New Zealand at the moment. So I would say because you already have done mechanical engineering, but you're now working as a design engineer, I would say you're probably more, especially since the last 4 years, you're more towards design. It will make sense for you to continue to be in the design field because, again, like I said, design engineering is also coming under the umbrella of engineering. It's not away from the engineering umbrella. But because the last 4 years, you have 4.5, 5 years almost, you have been involved with design engineering. Yeah, I'd say stick to design engineering because that's what you have earned um, a forte in. Build on it and make it better. Like last 15 years, I'm in the New Zealand immigration, education and immigration industry. If suddenly somebody asked me to start talking about Canadian immigration, I wouldn't know anything. I mean, it might be similar, but so that's my forte. So, and I think we should all play always play to our strength and to our forte. And so, I would strongly recommend that you pick up design engineering. And like I said, whether it's mechanical or design, you will be able to keep moving forward. And the beauty is, if you already have a qualification in mechanical engineering, and now if we add another qualification in design engineering, technically you could seek opportunities in both areas. And if you're coming as an AJV student, we will work with you and guide you as licensed advisors, tell you how we can work your way through the system in terms of finding a relevant job. And if you actually crack a mechanical engineering job, how can we help? How can you still proceed to residency? We can assist you with all those things. All right, cool. So please do get in touch with us. I hope you're already in touch with our team. And yeah, Ruben says, Roy, you're already in touch with him. So yeah, good, good. Continue to speak to Ruben, and we'll be happy to. Yeah, and you have been suggested the PG diploma in mechanical engineering, which is a good course because that will give you 3 years of post-study work visa. And the computer aided design is a part of it, and which is another very good skill to have. So that will also increase your options for a job in New Zealand. So I think what Ruben suggested actually makes a lot of sense, Roy, to have this PG dip in mechanical engineering with confidence in design. So you're satisfying both sides of what your background is. All right, cool. I've been asked to answer a question from Rajul Rastogi saying, Sir, I am Rajul from Delhi, India. Is there any college for Masters in Education ECE with six bands in IELTS out of Auckland? Please reply. And my colleague Eunice has added that Rajul has got 14 years experience in teaching and you have a six overall in IELTS and wants to apply for a master's. All right. Hey, look, Rajul, unfortunately, you will not be able to apply for a master's with a score of six only because to be able to do a master's or a postgraduate level eight course or a master's or a PhD, which is a doctoral degree, you need to have an IELTS score of 6.5 with no band score less than six. So with a six overall, you will not be eligible for a postgraduate course. So only, and bear in mind, because you're coming planning to come for teaching, even for your teacher registration, you require a high level of English. So if you're going to come into New Zealand with only six, you will stumble at the stage of the registration part again, which means you might end up with a lower level course like a graduate diploma, but then you will still not be able to get your registration, which will not allow you to work as a teacher in New Zealand. So pretty much the whole purpose of you coming to New Zealand is lost. So I would strongly recommend go back to your coaching, work on you come up to six, going up to 6.5 shouldn't be such a long stretch. So I strongly recommend go back and attempt the IELTS again, prepare yourself much better this time, and then go back, get yourself that 6.5 with no band score lower than six, and that will not only help you to get into the masters which you desire, but also help you with your registration eventually going forward. Although I must cross check to see whether 6.5 is enough for teacher registration, but to do the masters you'll definitely require the 6.5 initial. Okay, so yeah, please work on your IELTS. Okay, time to cough, people. Apparently this happens when you talk too much, which I have been doing for 51 years now, so well. Okay, Rensha the Rinku asks, Hi sir, I completed BSc Physics, but I have so many backlogs. Can I study Masters in New Zealand? Hey Rensha, thanks for being honest and sharing the fact that you have backlogs. BSc Physics is fantastic, by the way. I think it's a great science background to have. What was the reason you had this backlogs? Was it because you were not well? Was there some incident in the family? Was there a health problem for you? We would like to know more because backlogs in themselves are not always an issue, especially if there was a valid reason like you were not well and so on and so forth. So we would like to get more information. And worst case scenario, we should be able to still get you into a good technical course at the graduate diploma level, if not a master's. Perhaps we could even get you into a postgraduate diploma. We also need to know how much of IELTS you have scored. So the two things we need to know is what's your IELTS score and what was the reason for these backlogs. So if we know that, then we will definitely be able to advise you better. But backlogs in themselves, yeah, some universities are a bit fussy and they say, oh, but you have backlogs, so we can't admit you, so on and so forth. But yeah, if there was a valid reason, and you couldn't attend college regularly because some issue, if you're able to explain, and that's what AJV does, we have a fantastic rapport with all the institutions we work with and represent. So we can pick up a phone and we know all the senior people and tell them, hey guys, there's this student called Rinshad. This was the reason there are backlogs. We would like you to kind of give it a bit of a humanitarian look and give it admission. All right, Rinshad. So we would love to work with you and help you. So get in touch with our team, and you've shared your number, so we'll get in touch as well. But that's where you can reach us. Call that toll free number in India because I presume you're from India, and we'll take it forward from there. All right, cool. Okay, I'm just trying to say something's happening on my Instagram. All this technology confounds me sometimes. Cool. Anything from my team again? One of my colleagues is having a bit of a laugh with me. She says, I've done MSc Physics course options for me and no backlogs. No course options, Neha. You first get done with what has to happen inside HAV. Right. Mohit Patel. I'm holding BE Civil, graduated in 2017. Mohit, you haven't shared your number, man. Mohit, I know you're given your email address, but I would really like you to give us your phone number as well, please. Thank you, Mohit. Harry Singh asks, hello, sir. I want to know about today's decision on decline partnership visa, how this will help those whose partner is on work visa, please. So the question is not very clear, Harry. Did you apply through us, and is that why it got declined? So Okay, so one of my colleagues, Neha, who is, by the way, an ex-immigration officer who worked with the Immigration Department of New Zealand, has given me some feedback saying that things will become a bit more clearer about the entire picture from INZ in about 2 weeks' time. It seems right now they have made it a little lenient for partners of New Zealand residents and citizens, but not so sure about partners of students and work visa holders yet. So hang in there for a little bit. I'm not sure, Harry, if you um, uh, uh, applied for your spouse work visa through us, because if you did, then I think you should need to talk to us again. But if you haven't, get in touch with us anyway, and we will examine the decline letter and see if we can represent it with more uh, proof of why you're in a legitimate partnership, and also because the prime minister herself made a statement saying that they're reverting it back to status quo, which is how it was before the and how immigration officers were dealing with it. So I'd say get in touch with us if you're not already one of our clients, and we will see how best we can help you. Cool. And Tanua, I agree with you. Yes, GD NZIF for Neha is the best option for somebody who's done MSc in physics. Sorry, guys, that was just an internal joke. While I'm on those live sessions, I have another window open where all my team is, will be giving me feedback about, with some, for instance, if Harry was actually one of our clients, the officer dealing with Harry would give me immediate feedback. So I actually will be following our Facebook Live and YouTube, and also will be looking at Skype. And sometimes my team keeps pulling my leg, and we have a little banter and a few jokes going around as well. Cool. Siddharth Upreti. Kia ora, good evening. Asking on behalf, how's the scope in New Zealand for PR communication consultants? Relevant skills and 3 years work experience. Okay. May not be very great, to be honest, especially for somebody who is not from a PR background in New Zealand. I mean, public relations essentially is knowing public. So, if you're somebody new to the country, it might be a little bit more difficult, is my personal opinion. But I do think that it might be easier for somebody who's already in New Zealand to become a better public relations consultant. But if the person has got 3 years work experience, and if let's say the person is super skilled and has got amazing uh, communication abilities and is very presentable and can breeze into an interview and can kind of impress the people there and say, hey, look, you got to hire me. I don't see any reason. But not sure, Siddharth. Ask your friend to get in touch with us, and we will assess. And if not public relations, we might suggest something in marketing with papers and public relations, because say marketing is a bit more easier for a non-New Zealander to be able to get into, because marketing is, about digital marketing, so on and so forth, and papers and all the kind of stuff. But PR is, I think, you need to have had a bit of a network here in New Zealand. So we can potentially help your friend by getting that person into a marketing course with papers and PR, and he or she then possibly could look at either a job in marketing or in PR after completing the course. All right, cool. And I mean, my understanding is PR is a subset of marketing anyway. So yeah, it might make sense to do a PG dip in marketing and try and get into some other area, if not only in PR. All right, Siddharth. So ask your friend and get in touch with us, please. Thank you. Okay, Ethan has decided he is going to take up all the questions possible. Ethan Hunt, you're really on a mission impossible, aren't you? Do we have to show previous student visa refusal from Australia while applying for New Zealand student visa? If we don't, will that have any impact? Visa refused under Migration Act. You better show, Ethan, because yeah, some people think they can hoodwink the system. You can't. New Zealand shares information and intelligence with the US, Canada, Australia, and UK. So these five countries, they are called the Five Eyes. They have their own, network. They're obviously the English-speaking countries. They are the old cousins. They pretty much all come from similar stock. So they form something called the Five Eyes Alliance, and they share information. So if you try to hide it, they will absolutely come out with it. And with immigration, it's always best to be honest. With immigration, honesty is the best policy, people. So always, always, always be honest. It doesn't matter, when you go to a doctor, you're honest, aren't you? You don't try to hide some symptoms, because then you might end up getting the wrong medicine. Same thing with immigration, because some of you might hide and get away with it, but at some stage in future, if they catch, they can still throw you out of the country. So yeah, don't take chances. Please be honest. Okay. Anand Mishra says, I wanted to know whether doing MBA from India or New Zealand will be advantageous in context with placements as well. Okay, Anand, India is a massive market. So if you do an MBA there, I do believe you will get a job quite easily. New Zealand is not such a big market. But if you do a good course, you could potentially still end up finding a job here as well. The difference is that you working in India will be very different from working in the Western world. And I think what you guys and girls will get when you come to New Zealand is working in the Western world, which operates, from my own experience, because I also started my career in India, and I worked for really, really good companies. Like I worked with Xerox, I worked with Canon, and I worked with Tata Teleservices. So that's my background. So I work with some of the leading companies in India. And yet, when I came to New Zealand, or when I went abroad to some of the Western countries, I saw that the level of work is it's a little different. It's a little higher in terms of various things. So and increasingly, the world is becoming a small global village. So if you desire to stay on in India and create a future there, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do an MBA from there, because there's some good institutions there as well. But if you're wanting to be a global player, if you're wanting to, you know, find out how well you could have done in a much higher playing field, then I think you must consider coming to New Zealand. And if you do establish yourself in the way the globe is becoming smaller and smaller, look at me. I sit in Hamilton, and my wonderful team sits in India, and we're creating a multinational. However small it is at this stage, it still is a multinational company. So I couldn't have done it if I was still sitting in India, because however big a company I made in India, it would still not be a multinational. But right now, AJV is a small, little multinational. But yeah, that's the kind of advantages you'll have when you come overseas. So I'd say young people like you in this time and era when the world is becoming smaller must get out and seek opportunities in the big wide world. So yeah, do that. And if you still want to go back to India and do something there, you'll always have the option, just like how I have that option as well. Okay, okay. My throat is actually behaving quite nicely today. Dhruv Doshi, best university for tourism in New Zealand. Good question, Dhruv. Um, Quite a lot of them actually have courses in tourism. I don't know at what level you're looking at. Are you looking at a bachelor's? Are you looking at a master's? Are you looking at a postgraduate diploma? Are you looking at a graduate diploma? I don't know what level you're, because there are, besides universities, Dhruv, there are also certain institutions which are specifically aimed only at tourism and hospitality. So those, for all you know, they might be a better fit for you. So yeah, we will need to know more details. Thanks for sharing your number. Our team will get in touch with you. But we have quite a few universities providing courses in tourism, and some specialist schools as well, which deal only with tourism and nothing else. So they're kind of super specializing only in tourism. So once we get more information from you, we'll pitch all those different options, because we also need to know at what level you're intending to come. So based on that, we'll be able to give you an option. All right. Thanks, Ro, for sharing your number. Very nice. Right. Okay. Vaishak has asked me a question, but he has not shared his number. Vaishak, please share your number, Matt, so that I can answer. I think I made it very clear that we need to have your phone number, because otherwise it'll become a one-way street. I will be giving out all the information, and we'll have no idea whether you've taken it and disappeared, or you're going to talk to us and become a potential client. So please share your number, Vaishak, and I'll be more than happy to answer your question. Okay. Cool. Hiren D. Jariwala says, hello, sir. I'm Hiren Jariwala. Sonia ma'am is my advisor. My visa application declined. Please guide me in same context. Thanking you in advance. First and foremost, Hiren, very, very sorry to hear that your visa got declined. It's quite a rare occurrence, because we have a very high percentage of success, but not 100%, unfortunately. So there is about 5 to 10% of people who some, and it could be for various reasons. Sometimes it could be because of the visa interview. Some students end up feeling a little nervous during that interview and are not able to answer as confidently as they can. So, but what my team has told me is that your visa was declined after an interview, and you're already in touch with our team leader Tulika as well, who herself is an ex-immigration officer, by the way, and now is a licensed immigration advisor. And they are planning to send a request to get all the information of that interview that was conducted. So that's what they're doing right now. My team is working on it right now. Hiren, they have given me the update. So what we do when there is a decline is, because we don't like it either, Hiren, because we put in a lot of effort to pick the right people and good people like you to work with you, and we're doing this so diligently, so honestly. Not one of our students would have put in any document which is not authentic. So we are truly fighting for New Zealand, but sometimes New Zealand fights back as well. So that's our conundrum sometimes. But so because we believe in you, and that's why we take up your case, my team is already going to lodge a request to get the transcript of the interview, to see what were the questions asked and how you answered. And based on that, we are going to refile your application. Please do not worry. We will fight for it tooth and nail. If it means that I have to sit on your file, I'll sit on your file, but don't worry about it. But we have a beautiful team of people anyway. All right. Don't worry, Kiran. We will work on this and get you back on track. All right. I know it is very disappointing, But I give you my word that our entire team will work on this and try and make it right for you. Okay, but you kind of work on your interview skills a little bit, because by and large most immigration officers take advantage of the fact that sometimes students don't answer confidently during the interview and say, because of this we are not able to give a visa. So maybe you need to brush up a little bit, but it's not, all is not lost. We've had people declined once, twice, thrice, and yet we managed to get an acceptance letter. So we will absolutely fight for you here. Once an AJB client, always an AJB client, and we will fight for it. Okay, cool. Radio. Okay, and there's somebody called Vishal. I'll have to quickly scroll down to see where. Uh, Vishal. Okay, Vishal's question is: Hi Arun, I have 6 years experience in web design and development, but I wish to move into teaching, either secondary teacher or tertiary lecturer. Is that a good choice? Yeah, I don't see any reason why not, Vishal, because my team has also given some kind of feedback about you. That you've largely worked as a web developer from 2014 till about 2019, and then you worked as a private tutor. So if you are teaching web development, that sort of courses, and I actually can see a pretty good opportunity for you, because quite a lot of institutions here offer web related courses, and uh, so I can see quite clearly that you'd actually be able to move into that. So my recommendation is, if you already have a degree, come and do a postgraduate course in your field, in your web development or whatever, because then, because you have a postgraduate course, you would be able to teach at the tertiary level. Ideally, a master's would be good, and there are some really, really good masters in web development and graphic design and those kinds of things. So, if you are able to do a master's, then that will also prep you to be able to teach at the tertiary level here in New Zealand. And I can actually visualize you being working with some private college here, which does web development, and there are a lot of them here in New Zealand. So I strongly recommend a master's in your field, so that you not only get a 3 years post-study work visa, but you can also then teach at the tertiary level here in New Zealand. Because otherwise, you'll have to do a course in teaching, and if you're planning to go at the secondary teacher level, and so then again, you have to go through the teacher registration and all this stuff. But I'd say you're probably much better prepared to go into the tertiary level. So a master's with a 3 year post-study work visa, and then seek an opportunity in one of these colleges. And because if you're coming to New Zealand through AGB, because we work with all these colleges, we can actually help you to send your CV to the right people in each of these colleges as well. All right, cool. Okay, my team has told me to ring the bell, and all of you who follow my live broadcast know what that means. Time's up, but I'm gonna answer one last question, because they also try to squeeze in one last question before I go away. So Ruben has very cleverly. Ruben is one of my colleagues. Very cleverly, quickly, pasted one more question. So let me get on with this. Okay. As per the student fact sheet on the immigration website, post December 2021, students completing level 7 degrees qualification and above will continue to be eligible for Preksha Jain. Okay, hang on. So I'll have to first check where Preksha's question is. Okay, Preksha's. Hello, sir. I'm an AGV student. I will be applying for Masters in Applied Management for November 2020 intake. Wanted to know if I will not qualify for 3 years post-study work visa if my course extends beyond 2021. Absolutely no problem, Preksha. You would still be eligible for the 3 years post-study work visa. In fact, I have some research here again put very quickly by my team, which says, post December 2021, students completing level 7 degree qualifications or above will continue to be eligible for 3 year post-study work visa. And this is from the student fact sheet on the Immigration New Zealand website. So you have nothing to worry about. So I don't think people coming for master's level actually will ever have a problem, Preksha, because that's the kind of students we New Zealand wants. And so if you're coming for a master's, we would absolutely love to hold you back and uh, have you back here not only for those 3 years, but we hope. And when I say we, I don't mean AGB. I mean we as a country, as a government, as a nation. We in New Zealand want to attract the best talent in the world, and if somebody like you is going to come for a master's and move on into your career, we would love to have people like you. Don't worry about your 3 years post-study work visa. I think you will be just fine. Okay. And I will have to scroll back up to answer one last question because Amit has asked me a question, and I met Amit. And hi, Amit. Hope you're doing well. I remember you from our meeting in Mumbai. Yeah, good to see you here. And so when I was scrolling up, I saw Amit had also asked a question, and I didn't want to go away without saying hi to Amit and also answering his question. So Amit says, "Sir, my name is Amit." I know Amit. Come on, man. We had such a good conversation, and thank you for that lovely, lovely gift. We all had a good time with that. I'm an HAV client. Can you please let me know what is the latest news about partnership visa? Have they started issuing visas? Yes, Amit. There has been a lot of talk about partnership visas. Unfortunately, there was some negative publicity as well. But I think the government has, in fact, it reached a point where the prime minister herself stepped in and said, "Hey, look, we need to go back to the previous way of dealing with this particular visa applications, especially from countries like India, where marriages are a little different than traditional ones." So yeah, all good. We are back on track, and I know you and your wife have a good strong relationship, so I do not think there is any issue whatsoever, Amit. So yeah, they are moving forward. It's just that some of them have also been moved from India to the office here in Hamilton, New Zealand. In fact, our AJV office is right in the same building where Immigration New Zealand officers sit and do their partnership processing. So more than likely, the partner, that officer walks in front of our office every day. But yeah, they are moving forward. It's only a matter of time before you get your visa, Amit. And don't worry, like I said, once an AJB client, always an AJB client. We will take care of you. Okay. All right, guys, it was good to be back, and looks like my throat is behaving. I probably need to shut up more often and not talk so much, and then hopefully just come on once every week only. But otherwise, thanks as always. Sorry to all the people who I could not answer in this particular session, but I try and normally stick to 1 hour of doing those live sessions, mainly because of the fact that my throat doesn't hold up very well after that. But pleasure as always to come back and talk to all of you. And this week again, Tulika, my colleague, will be live. And Mary was already live, I think, earlier in the week. So more and more licensed immigration advisors from AJB are going to be coming live. And like I said, soon there are going to be 8 licensed immigration advisors, and hopefully I can take a rest then because there'll be one for each day of the week. Okay. On that very positive note, good night, people. Thank you so much. Please share this video, which will become a video and sit on our Facebook and YouTube, and share it with your family and friends if you're looking for good, honest, authentic information and service and a good, friendly, frank team to help you realize your New Zealand dreams. AJV. Thank you. Good night. Pomarie. Bye bye.